And welcome to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Chris.
I am Bryce.
I'm Bubba Bald.
I am Beardiful. And I don't know about you, but I'm fully recovered.
Well, we gotta get some get context.
Fully recovered from our Mandalorian video, which I had a lot of fun with. A lot of other people had a lot of fun with it, as far as I got the texts from, especially the next day. Brandon, the
Observer,
the Observer,
the wussy, the chicken shirt.
I'm sure he was very thankful he didn't have to go through what most of us had to go through the next day. So many fun gifts were going around in our texting chain.
Well, you may want to give some context. It did not require a prescription and or ointment of any sort or cream. Well, it might have actually.
we haven't got the full results back yet. I'm guessing. I definitely know why they don't like that sauce, the bomb sauce. It was not flavorful. It was just hot, and I'm not looking forward to doing it again, which is why we're switching up towards trivia a little bit more.
So yes, you did not specifically mention the fact that we recorded a new episode of Torture Trivia. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. It'll be uploaded about the same time this is coming up. So if you're watching this, go ahead and after you're done here, flip on over, or vice versa. We'll, whatever the case may be, as you were. But no new episode of Torture Trivia out. Hopefully, more to come in the future here.
It's got everything you could possibly want. It's got torture. It's got trivia. It's got surprise guests. It's got questioning the questions. It's got everything.
There's a little controversy, little drama,
questionable knowledge of
It wasn't questionable knowledge.
Totally questionable.
The knowledge wasn't questionable. The acquisition thereof and overall strategy, the strategery of it all. But
I'm going with laziness, not on your part, on our host's part.
I mean, let's be honest. I definitely played that up expecting that to happen. Like if I expected him to come up with his own questions and not just go online, probably like right before we recorded, to be honest.
I honestly never gave it a thought. I never thought that that would happen. And now I know better.
I 1,000% did.
Yeah. So
Obviously,
that's what I get for not planning ahead.
The only ones I didn't get were the ones that I wasn't fast enough, or I just didn't remember them. Right? Yeah, there were a few that I couldn't remember their name, like the actors' names. That's also nonsense. I don't care. We'll put it out there. Go ahead and comment below on whether or not you believe that
we had
that trivia
3 days ago.
Yeah, that trivia about a particular show and or movie is specific to like the goings on, the plot, the places, the characters, actually in the show and or movie versus trivia about the actors themselves. Like I feel it's a little bit of a gray area, and
So yeah, when it comes to like the production of the show, people that worked on it, between actors, directors, no one's gonna know the cameraman's name, like
or people who didn't direct episodes in The Mandalorian, James Franco.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's when it really got interesting. Like, hold on. Yeah.
Well, I definitely gave it away at that point because nobody was catching on.
Oh yeah.
Nobody was catching on at that point.
Well, because to the point, I mean, if you're completely lost about what we're talking about, go watch that episode.
Yeah, just go watch the episode. We'll move on to now. We'll move Torture Trivia, new episode, more episodes to come. Next episode of Torture Trivia on Lord of the Rings. We'll have to figure out. Well, actually, we'll have to do a few of those because we have 6 movies that we could go off of for Torture Trivia.
Well, 3 because Hobbit is its own series.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's still Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I would section that out to 2 separate. Because it's 2 separate arrows in its own right.
Yeah, we can have some, but we'll have some mix as far as that goes. But check out our Torture Trivia series. I'll have to go on the channel actually and put them together as a playlist, so it's actually separate from the rest of it.
And on some other notes, just updates for the week. I'm moving in 2 days. Gonna finally pack up the car and get the hell out of here. Um, Other than that, just a lot of packing. Not a lot else going on with me. Oh yeah, how was your week?
So far, so good. Team's doing well. Works firing on all cylinders. I should hit team goal about halfway through tomorrow. I'm expecting my team to perform, so I'll be over. I'll be over attainment on the month, which is super good to see, especially since it's I'm new to managing this team, so it's really good to be hitting goals early on.
Good.
Right then there. Completely still the side note though, but like, have you been following any of the stuff that's been going on with the stock market, with Wall Street and the hedge funds that have been shorting stocks and getting hosed because of a Reddit thread?
I heard about GameStop.
Yes, that's
I
the
heard
same
about.
one. It's a few actually. So GameStop's the primary one. So it's Citron is the primary hedge fund that like they have a either they have a YouTube channel or they were on TV. I don't remember exactly what it was or if it was on social media. I mean, it was on all, I think it was on all of those, but I don't remember where it particularly got all the interest, right? But this particular hedge fund goes out and just basically does hit jobs on stocks that they short, meaning that they're trying to drive down the price so they make money, because you can make money shorting stocks or basically betting that they're going to go down, right? And so this particular uh, group, which is the primary, there's another somebody involved. I don't remember their name, as well. That was on it as well. That went on and was saying the same similar stuff. But Citron is basically known for doing hit jobs on particular stocks, and they just happened to choose the wrong one in GameStop, and nobody really knows why, because GameStop is definitely not the stock to be in, right? Its overall business model is completely obsolete because it's a brick and mortar. It's brick and mortar. Pretty much everything brick and mortar is obsolete except for things that absolutely have to have a physical location. There's really no reason for it for brick and mortar anymore. But it also relies on physical media for games, right? From a gaming perspective. They can still deal in console, but there's not a whole lot of money in console, right? In the actual consoles themselves. Where GameStop made all of their money was in buying and trading of the physical media. You'd spend $50 on
Because they would buy it for $20 and then sell it for 60.
$20. I want to go to the
Maybe.
GameStop that you were going to.
Yeah,
I would walk in.
Sorry, I definitely overestimated. Yeah, they'll buy it for like $3.
I was to say, here's 20 games. I spent $50 a pop on 20 games, spent $1,000. We'll give you $50 for all of them. Right? Like, as far as that goes. You know what I mean? Like that's where they made their money. And then they would give you they give you $3 for a game, but then they turn around and resell it for 15, right? So they're making 5x on their investment of that. And people would go back and forth. And then they also, on returns, this is the one that would hose me too. Why I stopped shopping with GameStop unless I could not find what I was looking for anywhere else. They would not do returns to cash. They would only do returns to store credit. So they would basically lock up your stuff. So especially if okay, well, I don't want to buy anything. Like, that's cool. You can hold on to it and then come back when you want to buy something later. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And I'm sure I probably have some GameStop in-store credit sitting somewhere that I've never used.
I've definitely bought and sold at GameStop before. Not much, but my most memorable GameStop experience was I was buying a game from a guy off of OfferUp or something, and I don't think he had the case because he wanted to be at the GameStop. I got there, I see him walk in. I don't know it's him at the moment. He goes in, grabs an empty box off the shelf, and walks out with it to give me the game. Like he had put the paper. He swapped out the game label inside the packet, inside the DVD case, and put the game in there and handed me. I watched him go in and do this. I'm like, what the heck just happened? But no one stopped him. I mean, or he was just that smooth or whatever. But
so either way, this particular hedge fund operator that's known for doing hit jobs on stocks decided to do a hit job on GameStop, and the internet didn't like it. So nope. It's Wall Street Bets is the subreddit thread, And so it just, between the gamers and Wall Street bets, they realized that you could I'm sure you could research it if you looked for it, but there was a high enough percentage of shorts on this particular stock that if they drove the price high enough, that the shorts would actually expire. That, I know this isn't 100% correct, but like basically the shorts would expire or would reach a certain gate, I should guess is the way to look at it, where they would have to start, the shorts would have to start buying up the stock, right? So that continued to drive the price up. So basically, they're squeezing out the shorts so that the price keeps going up and up and up, and it's up like 700% or something like that.
Jesus.
It's crazy. So if you got in on it early enough, like, when it was under $20, because there was a time within and this has all been happening within the last like 2 weeks, basically. Like it's exploded within the last 2 weeks because the Reddit forum has like over 2 million subscribers, and and that's not including any other followers on social media, and then their Discord channel as well, or group, not channel, group, whatever, which is maxed out. Because I tried to join it, I'm like, I just want to see what they're saying in there, and you can't join it because it's maxed out at the total amount of members.
Gotcha.
Right, and so basically they've got these big money hedge fund operators buy the short and curlies because they're driving enough volume that those shorts are coming up, and they're losing money, and everybody's making a ton of money. Like somebody took their like entire life savings, like 54K, and dropped it on GameStop as it was pumping, and they made $14 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, in like a week. So you went from like, if you have $54,000 in your, as far as like saved up, like you're probably comfortable, right? You probably make a decent enough living, depending, as far as that goes, and that you're comfortable, right?
Right.
But to go from that to $14 million, where that's like never have to work ever again money, as long as you invest it correctly, right? Like you definitely never have to. You don't even need half of that to never have to work again. But one of those things, right? So that's been happening, and like so now, like there's some. I feel like there's also some shadiness at play, because like NASDAQ, the president of NASDAQ has come out and said that if they see any market, they didn't really specifically say market manipulations. They actually, I think the way that they worded it was market oddities, or market like outside of market norms, that they would and they specifically called out certain stocks, that they would stop trading on those stocks. But I'm like, but I look at that like, wait a minute, it's okay if the institutions do that kind of nonsense where they market manipulate and drive up the price or drive down the price, because institutions will do that. They will drive down the price of different stocks so that they can get a low entry point, and then just dump a shirt ton of institutional money into it, and then that pumps it, and then that pumps it, right? And then they get out, and then they wait for the general public to start catching on to the trend, and then they dump it once it reaches a certain threshold. There's calculations for it, right? They dump it on the general public, so the general public takes the loss. So, but what's happening is that non-institutional investors are basically pulling the same stuff on the institutional investors, and they don't like it. So I'm like, you're telling me you're going to stop doing this stuff because it's not your buddy, it's not whoever you're in their pocket, and you allow them to do it as an institutional investor, right? But because the general public is banding together and they're not using like major trade platforms, they're using Robinhood, Webull, what was it? There's another one. They're all like smaller, like day trading, kind of like little day trading. Oh, TD Ameritrade. It was TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade is pretty big, but but TD Ameritrade doesn't typically deal in volume and stuff like that. It's usually people that are doing smaller volume, right?
Let me know when you're done. I'm going to start reading something different here.
Okay, whatever. What did I mess up?
No, didn't we used to be a football channel?
Oh yeah, whatever. But this is news. We're talking about news, right? So like as far as like things that are going on in the world, like but like I said, pretty crazy stuff that they're squeezing some of these institutions and like said like the now that we're having regulatory bodies make comments on it, I personally feel it's BS. I am very much anti-establishment, right? Like I very much like limited any sort of limited regulation. I'm not saying no regulation because there unfortunately has to be because just
Well, yeah, people are users and abusers. It happens.
yes, you get it's the bad apples that spoil the bunch, right? So you always have the users and abusers. So you have to have some sort of regulation. You have to have have rules in place. Otherwise, we descend into chaos, right? So some rules, but as I said, I really hope that we can see this trend in the right direction. That hey, the general public does have the capacity, and we see this as the general public as the capacity to push back on the institutions that have been getting away with a lot, and now that they're the ones feeling the the hit. um you know what I mean, like hopefully
Well,
we can
you
get
don't
more
mess
into
with
that.
people's games. You just don't do that.
All right, but that's where I'm at. Like, so I jumped in on a little Nokia, like nothing crazy because Nokia is supposedly one of the ones that they're looking at. There's enough shorts in on the market. I'm hoping to just get a little piece. I did not dump $54,000 into it. Just looking to maybe be able to buy the wife a nice birthday present with some gains, some short term gains on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
But I'm not jumping on the GameStop because it's GameStop is like $350 a share or something like that today. I think that's
what
crazy.
what was it at when they bought when? Do you know where it was at when they bought it with the whole 54K?
It was sub $20.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it was sub $20. I saw one image, and it could be doctored or whatever, but it was it was a screenshot of somebody's trading account summary, and they had their dollar cost averaging, meaning like the amount of shares that they had purchased, equaling out the average cost per share of GameStop was $7.29. So the amount, so based on, the difference, the margin of difference would be $7.29 up to $350 per share. So that's what, $340 of profit basically
Right.
per share that they had. They said that their total account was worth like something like $5.4 million because of it. And that's huge. Like I said, that's a huge, like, you know what I mean? Like that's a huge amount.
No, yeah, I agree. I definitely didn't read up on this. I briefly heard about it this morning and was like,
Well, you hear GameStop and you normally just tune out. You're like, GameStop, that who cares, right? No,
yeah,
it's something to care, but like, yeah. So there's a few others that are floating around as far as rumored to be like on the next kind of along the lines of the pump. Said I'm gonna dabble a little bit. I said hopefully get some short term gains. Said buy a nice birthday present.
what you got in mind?
I don't know. Well, in case she actually watches the show, I'm not going to say because it's before her birthday, and I don't want to spoil it.
So some of our videos have 0 views. She's not watching the show. She might be listening outside the door, but she's not watching the show.
All right. Anyway, so football. So
Yes,
last
football.
week, well, now we have a hiatus in between now and the Super Bowl, but
Yep.
conference championships. So let's
Did
get to it.
they got rid of the Pro Bowl this year?
No, they still have I thought they still have the Pro Bowl. I thought I saw
No,
something about the Pro Bowl. Or did
they normally move it. They moved it to after, didn't they?
something
Like a couple years ago.
I thought they moved it to before because it used to be after, and nobody would watch it after the Super Bowl.
Oh
So
right, but yeah, then they moved it before, but they would have players that were in the Super Bowl that would turn it down
yeah,
because they don't want to get hurt. So I was listening to like Colin Cowherd and his top 5 changes to the NFL, and one of them was like just getting rid of the Pro Bowl because nobody cares. Basically,
yeah,
he had a legitimate reason for it. I mean, besides the ones that I mentioned just now, being if it's after Super Bowl, no one's like it's like the idea behind it is good, but it's just not as it's not as watched because it's not as competitive as you would think it would be.
Yeah, well, it's not competitive at all. It's is really what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's
none of these players want to get hurt. They're not playing for any particular reason.
no.
Uh,
Honestly, like I think it would probably be better if they did it like mid-season from the season before. Like so you vote at the end of the season and like so it's your so the those who were voted in were from the previous season, but it
unless
gets played at like
there's
the halfway mark.
unless there's some kind of benefit to to them, I don't think they're gonna care. Like no matter where you place it, unless it impacts them in their team in some way, I mean, I'm sure they get compensated fairly well for it. I actually don't know. I haven't done that much research into it, but is are obviously not trying for a reason, and I think it's either lack of conversation or lack of reasoning for the event itself.
Yeah.
Either way, well, which game did you watch more closely?
Or you know what it could be? The Pro Bowl could be at the beginning of the season, like with like in preseason, because then people would watch it, and then it's kind of like a warm up, right? So you'd actually like want to play and want to like do some stuff, right? That might
I
not be a bad
wonder.
idea.
I'm now thinking of a title where you can just put all the rookies on the teams and call it Last Man Standing, so you can figure out who you're keeping. If you do well in this game, we'll keep you on the team.
Or just turn it into like a combine instead. Like instead of playing a game, a game against each other, it should be like competitions again in different skill like activities, right?
Right.
I actually think that would be a lot better. And then you get
It
people
would
to do it, right?
it would be a lot better because yeah, when you're in direct competition, but not in any like real danger of getting hurt.
Yeah, you just keep them from like from getting smashed into each other, no concussions, no whatever. So it should be like route running, speed, jumps, kind of like some of the stuff that you see in the combine, but then other stuff that like you would, like punt pass kick, like have the receivers out there doing punt pass kick. I think that would be funny. Like it would
Oh
be,
yeah,
but it would give them a little bit of competition and things like that. You could do it. You could set up teams by division too, right? Like you could have divisional like teams. I like this. I think we need to write it into the NFL. I think we can market this, and I think you and I will announce it. Screw you, Chris Collinsworth. Now here's the guy. I can say that too.
I can say that too. This guy, forget his name. Bryce is on the back of his jersey. That's right. Look down at the list that's in front of you. Oh yeah, look, there's his number too. Yeah, this guy. I see what you did here. The numbers match the name to my list with the guys down there. That's amazing, Chris. Thanks for printing this out for me.
Yeah, I think we could totally do something like that, and I think that would be way more exciting than the Pro Bowl, and then you'd get people like that would root for their favorite players from their teams, right?
Uh-huh.
So you'd get some viewership out of it. We could put up some prize money. Bonus. Yeah, they could be bonuses. Like they make
not even to them, but you could also make it a charity event and
a little bit of both.
Well,
little charity, little personal reward.
Charity of their choice, yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, conference championships. We have our winners. We're down to 2, and now they're down to 2.
What did you? Which game did you watch most closer? Which one did you watch more?
Bucks Packers was the one that I was also at the casino, so I was kind of stationary and had a TV directly in front of me.
Yeah, I watched that one a little closer as well. I had a couple of bets going with this. I did one more parlay for the season. It didn't work out, but I'll explain why later. And I had to do I did my first prop bet. You know what that is, right?
Yeah. Which prop did you do?
I did Brady touchdown passes over under 2.5.
Yep.
Took the over, and he got 3. Had me scared too at the end because I think he threw a couple of picks near the end before he got that third one. I was getting a little antsy.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was the one I definitely watched. It was definitely close. It was close-ish, I guess. And
well, Bucks had a good lead throughout the entire game, but there were times where Packers definitely could have closed the gap, overtook them, and pulled out a win for sure. and but they just couldn't capitalize. Brady threw, I think, at least 3 interceptions, but then the Packers would go 3 and out, like it didn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know about that. What was going on there?
Yeah, me neither. But it was still a very fun game to watch. Well, the parlay I took was Bucks were disfavored by 3.5, so I took that bet, and then I took the over on the overall points being, I believe it was 52, and then as you can see, it ended up being 57. So by the end of that game, I was good, but I had one more that messed with me. I took Bills +3. And I thought this game would be a lot closer than it was. If I just switched that bet, I could have had at least a little bit more money than I left with. But Chiefs, like Hill was unstoppable. Like their Bills defense had no answer for Hill. There was nothing they could do to stop his run. He turned and burned a few people.
Yeah, I'd say the Bucks Packers game kind of went the way I would have expected it to. I really did think the Packers would end up pulling it out. Like I said, anytime you have to go through Lambeau, your playoff journey goes through Lambeau. That's a tall order. But I did not think that but I didn't like completely write off the Bucks at all in that particular case.
By no means.
I also thought the weather was going to be a lot worse. That's also why I took the over on the rushing touchdowns from our side bet, because I expected the weather to be worse. So I did not expect there to be a whole lot of passing going on. But whatever, all good. With that, and then
we'll go into the details of that in a minute.
Yeah, and then Bills Chiefs is I didn't watch too much of it. I mean, I kept tabs on it, and then we were recording the Torch Trivia. So with that, but. I thought the Bills. I did think that it would be closer, and I expected the Bills to give more of a run for their money. But also, like, I'm not surprised that Bills team showed up, right? Like the Bills had that like lingering, like, I don't know what, but they showed it throughout the season. On some weeks they were just on it, right, and they would just kill and they just kill their opponents, scoring tons of points, defense really clicking. And then they had other weeks where they just seemed off. Like it was like something was up. And I was hoping that would not happen. I would have liked to have seen the Bills, the Bills go. Shout out to the commish, who's a Bills fan.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Bills too. And honestly, after the first quarter, I kind of knew which way this game was going to go. Even I think first quarter, Bills were up by 9-0, or maybe the Chiefs had scored one by then. I don't exactly remember, but I could tell the difference in how the teams were playing. Chiefs could easily take the ball and march it downfield. There's nothing Bills were doing to stop it. Bills got lucky with their first touchdown when the Chiefs dropped the ball on I think it was the punt back, and they got it within the 5, and they were able to punch it in. And that's what gave them the lead, and that was the only time they had the lead throughout the game. But yeah, once Chiefs got the ball, they scored. Like there was almost, I'm sure they punted. I don't exactly remember them how many times they punted, but most often than not, they marched that ball down the field and they scored on them. There's nothing they could have done to stop them.
Yeah, and you've got to stop them. That's what it is. Like you've got to stop them and break that rhythm, and that's just what it is. All right, so we have I don't know what that was. So we have our matchup. It's official. Kansas City Buccaneers. Vegas is weeping.
Yeah. This kind of goes back to my I think I had a conversation with one of my friends, Jillian, not too long ago about making bets, and I think you and I had this conversation as well, and I don't remember if it was on camera or not, but the conversation of if you make a parlay bet, would you rather lose the first game and know it's over with, or lose the last game and have all your hopes just kind of shot down? And you and her definitely picked the same way from what I remember of you want it to go as far as you can to have that hope and make it as fun as possible and then lose at the end.
Yeah, because it just ruins your, like, especially like if you have games that are like throughout the day, right? So if like you had some games in like a morning game, a couple afternoon games, and you may have picked this like the Sunday night game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'd rather
I
have that
bring it.
excitement throughout the day versus like, all right, I just got like basically like kind of got some of the fun sucked out of my day because now all I'm thinking about is my I've already lost this. And then especially if you're watching the other ones where like that's your only loss. I've had those where I picked one morning game. I decided to, because I wanted to pick 5 games instead of picking 4 games, and I decided to pick a marginal morning game to add it to 5 to make a 5 game parlay, and that's the one that ends up toasting my parlay. That's also really irritating.
So I bring it up because this kind of looks like that. Like the entire playoff bracket, you're looking at, one of the teams that had a first week bye and the other one that had to go through Washington, the Saints, who they lost twice to, and Green Bay. So they're thinking, all right, so there's still like some chances that at least one of these teams doesn't go and then they lose. And the last week happens and their worst nightmare comes to pass. Finally, it happens. Both teams are facing each other, and no matter what happens, they losing their money.
Yeah. So quick recap reminder. So as far as this is about futures bets, right? So the futures lines at the beginning of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, enough money. This is the MGM Sportsbook, but I assume the Caesar Sportsbook is probably roughly in the same boat because there aren't major differences between as far as betting lines from sportsbook to sportsbook, especially in Vegas. Like they're all relatively close. That the lines were juicy enough that a lot of sharp money, public money doesn't even really matter. As far as futures were concerned, betting for who would win the Super Bowl, enough money went on the futures for both the Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. So now no matter who wins, the sportsbook will take a loss on those bets, right? So they will take a bath on those bets. Is the way that what came up in the way that I read it. So
I'm sure they made more than that in
oh
all the other ones that missed. So
yeah, I'm sure that they said they're going to take a loss on that particular bet, but I'm sure there's plenty of other lines, and that actually probably may affect the betting lines for the Super Bowl too, right? Like because now they're looking to make up those losses, so they might be a little bit more stingy on their lines.
maybe.
We'll see. But yeah, so Vegas is weeping a little bit because those bookmakers are in trouble a little bit. There's no way for both of them to win. If there was a way for both of them to win, I think that would be that'd be great.
Just icing on the cake. I'm looking forward to this game. These two definitely deserve to be there. Kansas City, great offense, great defense. Tampa Bay, same. They've both proven to be very formidable teams. So I'm looking forward to this game. I don't think this is going to be a Pats Rams game, but
hopefully not. Well, and it's a home game for Tampa Bay,
right? Which doesn't happen often.
No, it does not. I think Brady picked it on purpose. So where's the Super Bowl? I'm just gonna go there.
Yeah. He goes up, hey, do you want to win a Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, I'm sure Bruce Arians was like, bring it on. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Go.
What do you need? I need Gronkowski. I need Godwin to be on his game. And we need to bring in Antonio Brown. The O-line, this is what I need from you. Defense, get me the ball.
Yo. All right. Well, hey, so next week, our Super Bowled episode, we'll do picks and predictions. So just laying the table, setting the table for picks and predictions next week. Super Bowled, right?
We'll have to make a side bet for this one.
Yeah, we'll discuss the side bet next week with our picks and predictions and whatnot.
That's what I mean.
All right, just make sure everybody understands what you mean. All right. So speaking of side bets, I think that's a decent enough segue.
Yeah, I enjoyed it at least. Somebody has to pay up.
Yeah. All right, so we had a bet like I said, I was expecting the weather to be worse in Lambeau, but side bet because I messed up on the eating sardines because I ate sardines instead of anchovies the first time around,
And we confirmed it.
and we did confirm it. It was supposed to be anchovies. Like I said, I just grabbed the wrong thing. It's all canned fish.
It's all canned fish, oily canned fish. Side bet. Who initiated this one? Was it? Did you initiate the side bet?
The first one?
No. The first one.
That was the first one that was supposed to be.
I'm talking about last week.
Last week? Well, no, because you were complaining about the fact that I ate the sardines instead of eating anchovies. So we just said it was in good faith, right? I didn't pick sardines like to try and like get away from anchovies. It wasn't like
the punishment was acceptable, but we decided to do another one
because it wasn't specifically the thing that we said. Like I said, I just grabbed the wrong thing.
Yeah. So in that spirit, he tried to get me to eat a fish and didn't work.
It's okay. We all know how much you enjoy the little wiener juice. You had to drink the Vienna sausage liquid.
I know, but no one that hasn't seen the episode has no idea what you're talking about.
Wow.
and just thinks you're being disgusting.
No, I'm being specific as to the punishment that you lost when you had to drink the Vienna sausage juice.
Anyway, so
if you thought of it otherwise,
you're the one that took 2.5 months to eat the wrong fish.
It wasn't 2.5 months. It was like 3 weeks because I kept forgetting to buy it.
It was not 3. It was
like
at
3
least,
weeks.
It was at least 2 months.
It was not 2 months.
2 months.
It was not 2 months.
It was the week before Thanksgiving. You were supposed to do it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it was.
No, because no. The punishment wasn't when it was after that. I'd already got my appendix out.
Which was before Thanksgiving. I know this because I flew in for Thanksgiving, and the day I flew in, you got your surgery.
Yeah, but I'm saying no.
And the
punishment was after that. Like, it was supposed to be after that.
We didn't do a recording that for 2 weeks. We had already made the bet the week prior.
Nah, it wasn't that week prior.
Yes,
it was after that. It was after that.
It was not.
It was after that. It was after that. Anyway, either way. That says, if I can get that says anchovies. Can you read anchovies?
So the bet we made last week was how many rushing touchdowns were going to happen as a total between Green Bay and Tampa Bay. And Chris giving me the option to pick a number, and him choosing the over or under, chose the over, and did not happen. Aaron Jones got 1, and that was it. No Brady touchdowns, no Rodgers touchdowns. It was a complete throwing match for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's also why Green Bay lost, because Rodgers decided to force a throw instead of take a clear running lane to the end zone.
I think I saw one of those. I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a few of those, like where they're like, they showed like he threw this incomplete pass, but they're like, but there's this running lane right here where there's not a defender anywhere for the next like 6 yards at least.
Maybe he wanted to go home early.
Yeah, maybe he has golf. Maybe he's gonna go golf with Tony Romo
or the guy from State Farm.
That too. All right, let's get this going.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored by golf.
Anybody.
Or State Farm. Or Tony Romo.
as Chris. Actually, so we were talking about, while you're doing that, we were talking about, news and whatnot, and you mentioned Jason Witten. And did you read that whole thing, or did you just see that he was retiring?
Oh, the fact that he's getting a 1-day trade to the Cowboys.
Yeah, he wants to retire a Cowboy because
he spent his career as a Cowboy.
Yeah, he was a Cowboy the entire time, and he spent a year in Vegas. And actually, I definitely don't. I mean, it's just interesting news. I mean, to find out that hey, I want to retire a Cowboy. Can I sign a 1-day contract and do this? I just find it interesting.
It's not uncommon. That happens a lot. Yeah, Megatron. I think Megatron did it because did Megatron leave Detroit or did he just retire?
I have no idea.
I know that that happens, right? I think even Brett Favre, even though he played like one season with the Vikings, like his retirement, he like went back and retired as a Packer or some nonsense.
Yeah, because he was Packer forever.
Yeah, and so like that's not uncommon for players to do that.
Well, yeah. I'm curious if Adrian Peterson would go back to the Vikings just to retire, because he was their golden child for a while.
Maybe. Who knows?
No, I mean, so
When he finally gets there, we'll see.
I know he went to Washington and Detroit. Did he go anywhere else before then? No,
Nah.
just those three teams.
Yeah, just those three.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean that much to him. I mean, everyone's different. You never know.
Yeah.
Did you get the can open?
Yeah, can's open.
Do they look different? Are they full fish or are they fillets?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, they're fillets.
Oh, yeah, it definitely looks a lot different.
Yeah, because they're fillets and not the full fish. The other one was like just had like somebody went in with like scissors and snipped off the tail and snipped off the head and then like
got all the
pulled the guts out, and that was it. That was as far as it went. Right.
Huh?
So we have sardine filet.
You have to let me know if it tastes any different. I mean, I'm sure it does. I mean, it's a different fish in general. I mean, but usually, like when it comes to fish, it's like the taste is nearly similar, but there's a lot of difference in the texture. Like mackerel to me tastes a little grainy.
So this one is saltier by a lot. Like the other one, like tasted more like was it like closer to like a tuna flavor, like kind of like had that kind of flavor to it. And this one is definitely saltier, a little more like oceany, right? Like it tastes more like the ocean than the sardines did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to make some kind of joke about pollution, but I can't think of anything.
All right, we good?
Did you just do one? Wasn't it two?
Is it two? I don't care.
I'm pretty sure it's two.
I mean, that's fine.
But come on, it's not a jalapeno.
It's supposed to be a habanero.
In case apparently we're not the only ones that don't watch. It's like other people aren't the only ones that don't watch the show. We don't go back and watch our own show to see who said what.
No, I went back and it was habanero, but you were like you complained about it, so you ate the jalapeno.
I rebet it.
Yeah, we rebet it, which I should have just held you to the habanero. If I get the oil off this thing so it's not dripping.
Delicious. What are you actually having for dinner? Don't talk with your mouth full.
Fish tacos. Not sardines though. Not sardines.
What about anchovies?
Or anchovies. Neither of those.
Yeah, actually,
we're gonna do. I got some cod that I'm gonna grill up with some chili lime seasoning.
I'm gonna order from a ramen shop that I actually really enjoyed while I was still here. They had something called the Obi-Wan Kenobi roll, and it was amazing.
Ramen shop. Okay.
What I say?
No, that's what you said. I just initially didn't hear ramen. I heard Robin shop, and I'm like, the bird? What? That made no sense. And then you started talking about rolls, and I'm like, ramen.
Yeah, I've noticed when I listen back, I tend to talk too fast, and it definitely like brings that realization of how many people go, "What did you say?" Because I do it all the time.
Yep.
And I know where it comes from because I learned it when I tried doing stand up. Is I hate being talked over just in general. If I'm talking and someone tries talking over me, I hate it. So I tend to say things as fast as I can to hopefully avoid that happening. And it's subconscious. Like I can't stop myself from doing it.
Or it could be like Kamala Harris. Oh, excuse me, Kamala Harris. I'm speaking.
Oh, no, I won't do that. Excuse me. No.
Oh, man.
Hey, stop it. I'm talking.
Anyway, so yeah. So cool. So you're having some ramen. Oh, speaking of ramen though, HelloFresh has a ramen meal option that actually was really good. It was a good portion too. Like it was like a fat bowl like that you would get like a ramen shop.
Do you
Was
do?
about
I
that
didn't know you
portion.
did HelloFresh.
Sam got some coupons and whatever, and so she got some deals, and so we've done a few like, and uh, with my work schedule being what it is, because I've been working some longer hours and things, I haven't necessarily had the time to like do full meals, and so this kind of gives us a chance to like mix it up, or if I like don't like, I get done late, don't want to go to the store, we can just do a Hello Fresh meal. We only do like one or we only do like two a week. Like basically, it came out to like two a week is for
Right.
recently.
Well, what I never understood was Dad would make these because I mean he did. As far as I know, he was doing it first. I don't know if you weren't sure to him. I don't know, but he would take the recipes and throw them away, and I started saving the ones I liked. Like any ones that I liked, I kept the recipe so I can just go to the store and grab that stuff again. But he would
Mhm.
always just throw them away. It's like I'm just saying to myself, well, like if you did HelloFresh for a year, you did 2 meals a week a year, you got 104 recipes that came to you. You could save easily 20 recipes that you enjoyed, and you could easily do like I mean, as far as how I live is you make one big portion that makes good for 3 days, and you could easily make that work and go through a full rotation before you go through all 20 and restart it again. You're not going to get sick of any of it.
Yeah, no, we save them. We save all. Well, we've saved pretty much all of them. I don't think there's been any
Yeah,
that we haven't saved. And
yeah, you just
also,
make,
like,
make your own cookbook. Yeah,
well, yeah, you basically make your own cookbook, and then we also like started to modify them. We're like, oh, this was good, but like I'd like there to be a little spice or a little bit of citrus to it. So like being able to add in like either you add in some spices, add in like citrus, or an herb, a lemony herb, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I got you. Yeah, you make your own little alterations to what you like. Like when I first started doing egg roll in the bowl, which I didn't get to do HelloFresh, I got it through something else. But I started adding jalapenos to it because I like a little jalapeno in my meals.
Yep. Nah, we used to do Blue Apron. Blue Apron was mine, but then it became really expensive.
That's too bad.
I just think it's just expensive. Like you can't. There's no way I can afford because I think it's like it ends up for 2 meals a week. I think it was like $60 a week or something like that for 2 meals. I'm like, that's my entire basically like almost my entire food budget. Really, if I were to do 2 meals through them per week at $60 a week, that's crazy. Like I can.
Was but by meals you mean like I'm assuming you mean you get two separate ingredients. But
Well,
did they cook for just one person or
no, they cook for two people, so like it's for two people, but that's only like 2 days a week, right? That $60 covers,
right?
right? So versus like I can go to the grocery store for $60 and I can buy almost a week's worth of. I can probably actually buy more than a week's worth of food.
Yeah, but again, it's all going to be similar stuff. You're going to have most likely you're going to have like 3 days worth of chicken, and then maybe a couple days worth of steak or pasta or whatever it is you're doing.
Go
It's
to
gonna
Costco, buy in bulk.
there you go. Who
Well, I
needs
said,
this much toilet paper? Man, I remember those videos of bringing out the pallets and them just devouring through it because people are insane.
yep, pretty much. But yeah, no, that's either way. But no, there's actually a Blue Apron recipe that like I still do. Like I kind of memorized it. I don't even know where it is anymore, but like I kind of pseudo memorized it. But it's for like a pan seared steak with a red wine and balsamic reduction sauce. That's like really good. It always comes out really, really, really tasty.
There was a ground pork Szechuan sauce, rice and green beans. Still, oh my god, it was like my mouth is watering just thinking about it. It was so good. Like that's one of my go tos.
All right, let's finish this shit up so I can go eat.
We're getting hungry. I gotta make a phone call because it's like a 20-minute drive to go grab it. It's worth it. It's so like the Obi-Wan Kenobi roll, so good.
All right.
So come find us at The Bald and Beardiful on Facebook. Like the page. I try to upload our videos to there as well. You can email us at thebaldandbeardiful@gmail.com. If you want to talk to us, let us know your thoughts. Give us some suggestions of what you want to hear about, especially when it comes to torture trivia, because I'm kind of proud of that little segment. I'm looking forward to doing more of those. Hit the subscribe button so you get our updated videos when they come out. Hit the like button on this video and share it with your friends. Let them know what's going on. It's not all football with us. It's funny and not so funny banter sometimes. Anything you want to add?
No, I think that covers it. Until next week, same ball time, same Beardiful channel.
Bye, everybody.